Testing, 1, 2, testing, 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 testing.
Is it on? Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I think you know that I'm not John Cottingham. Unfortunately, he's ill and not able to be with us today. So we'll just carry on without him. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I don't have a gavel. And ask Bill Howard if he would come forward and do our invocation, followed by Doug leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. God, in your loving wisdom, several years ago, you inspired believers to plan and establish Scotia Village as a community of residents and caregivers. We thank you for all who have lived or worked here to bring about a sense of family, brothers and sisters, your children and residents. Trusting your presence today, we gather to uplift family members and concerns. Placing hope in the future, we pray for your guidance in our planning and caring. Remembering those who have gone before and looking forward to those yet to come, we pray for your blessing upon our family at all times. Amen. Shall we stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
You have the clicker? Want to give me the agenda, please? Madam Secretary, do we have a quorum?
We have a quorum.
Okay. The first thing under business today is to approve the minutes of the May 16th meeting. You've all had an opportunity over the summer to read those. They've been in the white notebook in a shredder, in the shredder note. Not in a shredder. There's always room for a little comic relief here. Can I entertain a motion?
Second.
Jim McQueen moved and Matt seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? Okay, so ordered. In light of John's absence, he sent with me what he would have shared with you this time as the president's report. He wanted to thank Kathy Henderson for playing the gathering music, for Carol Radel, our outgoing president, for her great leadership, and Sandra Burns, our outgoing secretary, for her fine work. He wanted to welcome the new board members, myself, Sue Grady, Kathy Henderson, secretary, and he wanted to thank the board for serving. He also wanted to let you know that all our committees have chairpersons now. And he wanted to thank you all for accepting that responsibility and the committee members for their willingness to serve. He wanted to especially thank Gray and Brenda Gilbert for their recent theater production of the radio show Aces and the melodrama The Widow's Mite. He wanted to thank Henry Carter, Ann Todd, and Ava Mae Walker for conducting our annual financial review of the SVRA's funds and the gift shops. And we'll receive a report from Henry a little later on in the meeting. So at this time, we'll go with officers' report. First up is Vice President, and I have no report. The secretary? No report. Treasurer? I know you have a report, do you not?
That's it. Can you all hear me? All right, I don't have my pointer today. I'm just going to read what you see. The balance on hand at May 31st was $15,777.62. The receipts for the last 2 months was for the general fund $1,000, which came from the gift shop, and the bridge had $505. Total receipts $1,535. The expenditures was $33.81 for social activities, the general fund $300.04, hospitality $60, bridge is $850, information technology was $104.94, the repertory theater was $167.91, and the LL Learning was $500. Total expenditures for the 2 months, $2,016.70. Bringing a balance of the general account, $15,295.92. Now, that is made up of social activity money of $1,966.19. And of that 15,000, the general fund has 6,000 that's not assigned to the committees. A hospitality fund has $440 a balance. The bridge has $2,812.31. Concerns committee is $400. Information technology is $395.06. The repertory theater is $1332.09. And the LL Learning is $500. The Employee Appreciation Fund has $1,411.91 on it. I want to take this time to say that we are going to start our fund drive November the 1st, but you can contribute to this Employee Appreciation Fund throughout the whole year. I'm open for business, and I'll accept any checks anybody would want to give me for it. If it's easier for you to contribute to the fund during the year, then fine. That's why I'm here. Otherwise, we'll be having our fund drive from November to the second week in December for the Employee Appreciation Fund. All right, the amount of money that's outside of the general fund, I have $81.55 in my social activities fund. We have a money market that over the last 2 months was paid $3.34, bringing a balance to $1,971. We have a certificate of deposit of $2,500, and that will become due at the end of January. The gift shop has a balance of $2,536.11, bringing that total outside the general fund is $6,127.37. The total balance that the Residents Association has is $21,423.29 at the end of July. Henry Carter and his review committee reviewed the records, my records for last year, and Beth Newbold's records, and they said everything was in order. And I have his report right here in my little hot hand, and it will be included with the minutes and on file if anybody wants to see it. And Henry, if you have anything to say, you're welcome to say it.
I think everything you said, we reviewed the accounts and found everything in order.
Okay, and I was certainly glad that you did. Okay, that's all I have.
Continuing with our committee reports, Clint, do you have one for Norca?
Thank you, Madam Vice President. I had hoped to have a report. Unfortunately, our legislators are still in recess. They were supposed to go back to work, but they're still in recess. We are promised that the budget for North Carolina will be approved during the week of September the 7th. And just keep in mind, there are a lot of issues before the budget, teachers increases and all those kinds of things. But we're right there. Our lobbyists are working hard to make sure that we get included and not have to pay the tax. So sorry I didn't have anything else to say, but that's as far as we can go until they go back to work.
Building and Grounds? Jim McQueen?
Good day. Building and Grounds Committee has a couple things we want to bring to you. The first is our thanks to our grounds crews. We've had some good rain here, but really, if you ride around the campus, not many people going in the back of the campus now around Cameron Drive, it looks like something out of Southern living. The grass is green, the trees are blooming, the grass is well trimmed, and the campus looks as good today, I think, as I've seen it since I've lived here. So I want to thank the grounds crews for that. I said that the water from the rain really helps, which brings us to the next subject, and that's the sprinkler system. There's some problems with the sprinkler system, but maintenance won't know about it unless we who live around them point them out to them. If you see a problem with a sprinkler system, either it's not rotating or it's just pointing in the wrong direction, please put in a work order or notify the people whose lot is on, and they can put in a work order, and the grounds crew will be attentive to those work orders. They took care of mine, for instance. Not only does, if you get too little water, your grass dies. If you get too much water, then the grounds get soggy, and then those heavy mowers go on there and put ruts in the ground, and they lead to bad things. So try not to overwater. If you see your sprinkler system overwatering areas, notify them of that also. The house number is supposed to go on the garden apartments. We've been assured by Greg that that project is ongoing and should be completed soon. Last thing, once again, we on the Building Grounds Committee urge people who are driving around campus to please stay within the speed limit. We have people walking early in the morning. We have people walking all day, even in this heat. We have people walking with walkers, walking with canes, and they could be hurt seriously if they're hit by a speeding car. So watch your speed. I speed at times, and I feel bad about it, so I'm guilty, but I'm trying to watch it better, and I hope everybody else will too. Thank you.
Concerns Committee, Chris or Karen, you have a report?
Thank you, Sue. Since our last SVRA meeting, the Concerns Committee has added 3 new members, Patsy Connolly, Barbara Mack, and Anna Mae Walker. We assisted in transport so that residents of healthcare could attend the Repertory Theater Spring Performance. Our 16 committee members visit regularly with 36 different residents in Tartan Place and Heather Glen. Sue Fiddler plays piano for numerous events, and Karen Horn provides visits from Lucky on a weekly basis. We have worked with Michaela Terry to receive monthly updates of individuals in Tartan Place or Heather Glen who would appreciate visitors. As that list continues to grow, we would encourage anyone who would like to join the Concerns Committee to contact me or Chris Nance. We would also like to remind new residents that anyone can visit Tartan Place or Heather Glen at any time. And we would like to thank the many members of this community who are sitting out there who provide frequent and generous commitments of time and service to these residents. Since our last quarterly meeting, we have lost 2 members of our SV community, Martha Johnson and Ben Dryman. As we miss them and sorrow at their passing, we remember that all those impulses of love return to the love that made them. Thank you.
And the hospitality, Carol?
Good afternoon. The Hospitality Committee has greeted 4 new residents since our last meeting. A committee member visited each one of them and presented them with a welcome gift. This was followed by a visit from the committee chair to discuss Scotia Village Residents Association and its activities and bylaws and all of that. Each new member received a copy of the association bylaws, a list of the officers, a list of the various committees, as well as information about Laurinburg and local businesses. At this visit, the new residents were given an opportunity to discuss any issues or questions that needed to be addressed. New residents were formally introduced at the first meet and greet after their arrival. And this was in honor of them, giving all residents a chance to meet and to welcome them. I'd like to extend a huge thank you to the Hospitality Committee, and I will read those folks out to you. Lillian Boger, Sue Grady, Sis Thomas, Shirley Chandler, Carol Howard, Ann Todd, Carol Radels, Kathy Henderson, and myself. Thank you, committee. At this time, I'd like to introduce our new residents to you. First of all, they're not new now, they're old, but they missed their opportunity to get introduced. It would be Charles and Ann Todd. So would you all stand? I think everybody has met the Todds by now, but anyway, welcome. All right, our next new resident, yes. Oh, yeah, you want your picture made? Come on. Come on, get your picture made. Okay, afterwards, okay. Afterwards, it'll be fine. Okay, the next new resident was on June the 24th, and that was Judy Norris. And Judy, would you please come forward? Is Judy here? Oh, is she? Okay, well, she did not respond, so we miss her, but you'll meet her later. Maybe we'll introduce her next meeting and get her picture made. All right, then on July 1st, we had Stephanie Reed. Stephanie, would you come stand up front? Yes. We have to get your picture made and a name tag, and a name tag. Come on, we need you over there. You need a name tag. She has a special name tag for you. It has the Scotia Plaid on it. You have to have it. Stephanie is a native of Fayetteville. She married in 1980, and later her husband joined the Army. They were stationed in Italy for 7 years, and for 4 years in Massachusetts, and then at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, along with other cities in between. She has 2 associate degrees from Fayetteville Tech in business management and marketing and retail. She attended Park University while working for Defense Finance and Accounting in Ohio. They're making such a racket over there. Stephanie has worked for DFAS in numerous states. She retired after 27 years in 2019 and then moved back to Fayetteville to aid her sister Barbara, who was caring for her stepmother and her mother. Her sister plans to move to Scotia in the near future. So we look forward to that. She enjoys gardening and also any crafts, especially crocheting and needlework. Stephanie enjoys traveling and starting new projects. So welcome, Stephanie. The next resident to be introduced is Shirley Pate. And Shirley moved here on July 17th. So Shirley, would you stand, please, and get a name tag on you and your picture made? Shirley is originally from Augusta County, Virginia. And once she graduated from high school, she came to North Carolina and earned her BA degree in English while attending Flora McDonald College, now St. Andrews. She has been in Laurinburg since 1956. She has a daughter and a son, both who reside in Virginia. She taught English in public schools for 35 years. Yay! In both junior and senior high. Shirley has enjoyed volunteering at Helping Hand for approximately 14 years. She has also served on the board of directors for that organization. She is an active member of Laurinburg Presbyterian Church and has served as a deacon, an elder, a Sunday school teacher, and engaged in other activities. She actually compiled 150 years of history for her church as well. She is a lifelong learner of both cultural and political history. Shirley is an avid reader of all types of literature. She and her husband once owned an antique shop, and she loves home decorating and design. She decorated 3 homes here, right here in Laurinburg, before moving here. So we welcome you, Shirley. We have another resident who was not able to be here, and that is Carol Murphy. And we'll formally introduce her at our next meeting. Thank you.
Ellen, could I have the slides about the scholarship? There you go. I want to thank Marissa for attending our meeting today from the corporate level and being here to be part of presenting these scholarships. We have 6 recipients of scholarships this year. And as I call your name, will you please come forward so I can give you your certificate, and also accept my apology if I murder your name. Gabriel Chavis.
Don't make me have to get angry. Are you ready? Oh, that's a great one. Thanks.
Kirsten Locklear.
Oh, look at that. Wow. Now behave yourself.
Want to get our mask off?
I know, right?
Carol, let's get her with a mask.
Mask off?
Yeah, take the mask off.
Take it completely off.
How'd I miss that? I was paying
Yeah, I'm gonna knock my earring out.
There you go.
We're gonna slide it in my pocket. I'm gonna put it back on, I promise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Allison Sexton.
Yeah, you're not that red light. All right. Well, it's not taken. I think Alan did it.
He broke the camera.
It wasn't me. Ready?
Charette Williams.
Oh, boy, that's the best smile for that.
Thank you.
Good, got it.
Jessica McCall.
Ready? This is for your mom.
And Leah Oxidine.
Oh, what a smile. Nice. Good.
Thank you, and we wish you easy sailing in your educational pursuits. Okay, the next thing under new business is the amendments to the Scotia Village bylaws. And we have three things, and we will vote on each one individually. These were presented at last May's meeting for your information and for you to be able to think about it. I'm sure you studied it all summer and are now ready to vote. The first is a clarification and rewording of the definition of the IT committee. And I don't think I need to read it to you. Mac first and Jim second. Jim Wayne, okay. All those who approve, aye. Any opposed? Okay, next one. There's more to the amendment. Yeah. No. There should be amending words from Scotia News to Scotia Times, and that's in the bylaws. I'd entertain a motion. Second? Who did the first? Brenda Gilbert. And who seconded? Marilyn. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. And the third one is changing the words PHI to Bright Spire in the bylaws. Entertain a motion? Who was that? Clint. A second? Drag. All approve? Any opposed? There's one in every crowd. So move. Thank you. Does anyone have any new business that they wish to bring up? Okay, we now have our executive report, and you have 20 minutes. You should be able to. Was given explicit instructions to keep this meeting to 1 hour, so you got 20 minutes.
Thank you for the 20 minutes. First, I'd just like to say, I don't know if y'all know this, but my mom and Ben were neighbors in Clubhouse. They live right next door to each other and died within a couple weeks of each other. I want to thank this body of residents for the support you have given me over the past month. It'll be a month this week. So thank you so much for the cards and the kind words and the visits. It's been a lot. I really appreciate it. And then last week, it was last week, I was going through some old emails and I came across a voice message from Ben Dryman, wanted me to stop by his room and see him. I think he was well aware of his time to pass, and he just wanted me to come down there and talk to him. He told me all the things he thought I did well, and of course, told me all the things I did not do well. So it was a tender moment for sure. So I miss him a lot as well. He was a true gentleman. I'm sure he is the best dressed person in heaven at this point for sure. So and then one quick word about the Williamson Scholarship. Some of y'all may not know several of the recipients, but this year's group of honorees and recipients of the scholarship are more than deserving. They're great team members here. And I'm just so happy that they were awarded these scholarships. They'll use that money to good work. So thank y'all. Now for the fun stuff. Do y'all mind if I stand to the side? Is that okay? Or how about this? This would be even better. I'd like to start with the dashboard of our finances, and this is through June 30th. I hope to get the July numbers in sometime in the next couple of weeks. You can see our revenues are about $420,000 above where we budgeted. That's mainly due to the great work of our healthcare team, with Ashley leading the charge and a lot of other people working hard to keep our skilled nursing census way above where our budget has been. They've done a great job of bringing new people in for short-term rehabs, even long-term placement. They've done a great job. Assisted living has done really well. We've stayed consistently full up in assisted living. And then I see Will back there. We've also done a good job of finding and attracting people to move in as new residents in independent living. Because, every time somebody moves from independent living to assisted living, that leaves a spot in independent living. And they've done a great job of finding people interested in being part of our community. The opposite side of that is expenses, and you can see the parenthetical there at the end. We're about $580,000 over budget on our expenses. Three main drivers of that. I've shared with this group before in the last meeting. We are self-insured here, meaning we pay, I think it's up to $130,000 of every healthcare claim before our insurance kicks in. This year, it's not just Scotia Village, but across the Bright Spire communities. It's not been a great year for our team members as far as sickness goes. We've had a lot of high dollar insurance to pay. So we're about $220,000 over budget for our group insurance. Another driver is, I've mentioned it before to y'all, is our temporary agency usage that we were heavy on at the beginning of the budget year. That's over by actually we don't even budget for it really. So it was about $120,000 there. And then, I don't see Ken back there, but raw food costs have continued to go places we never thought they would go. Y'all been to the grocery store and continue to see the high prices when you go. Imagine purchasing food for, for as many people as we serve every day, residents and employees. So those are the main drivers of that, meaning that we are behind budget in our operating income by about $156,000. We're still doing well other places, but we are behind budget on our operating income. Cash and investments, many of y'all have investments of your own and know the past month has been pretty decent. Hasn't been too bad, but it's been up and down all year for those that watch the market. So all in all, it really hasn't changed for the whole year, but we have seen an upward trend over the past little while. Outstanding debt, we're about $6 million in debt, which is a really good number for us. I think by the end of this year, we'll actually be under $6 million. We'll see a 5 up there, hopefully, the next time we get together, which will be a good thing to see. Days cash on hand, 272 days cash on hand, which is better than budget by about 15 days. And I like that number there. It takes close to $40,000 a day to run Scotia Village. Wasn't too long ago, that number was about $28,000 a day. So it's gone up dramatically over the past 3 to 5 years. After COVID really has gone up. If you add our foundations in, it's 474 days cash on hand. Any question on the, I see some people still awake, so we'll go to the next slide. Looking at Will back there, you can see that we're over budget for our entry fees. That's what people pay to move into Scotia Village. We're about almost at 1.6 million compared to a budget to date of 1.4 and an overall budget of 1.8. And I'm looking at Will, I'm pretty sure that we'll meet the 1.8 by the end of the budget year, which for those that don't know is September 30th. Purchase of fixed assets, you can see that we're over budget, even our annual budget. Please remember, though, this does include our construction project we have going on out there as well. There was two different capital budgets for that. There was an operating one and then a special projects, which the construction project falls under. Charity care, we're about 7%, and then we're required to be at 5% by the Medical Care Commission. And debt service coverage ratio, our ability to pay debt, is at 2.21, and that's a budget of 2.05, and that's better. We're better than budget by 0.16. So overall, I think our finances are okay, but something that is concerning for all of us is our margin has gone down a lot over the past 4 or 5 years, especially through COVID, and we'll be looking to build our margin back up over the next couple years. Any questions about the budget? Hearing none. Occupancy as of the 14th, which I believe was yesterday. Independent living, we're right at 92%. Budget's about 94%. So I think we got, how many move-ins we got coming, Will? We got 6 more move-ins coming in the very near future. That's not counting the expansion, correct? Yeah, so that's good. Assisted living says 100%. I thought there was at least one empty room. Yeah, there's at least one, so let's make it 96%. But 100 looks, is there 2? Let's make it 94% or 93%. But that's still really good. We'll leave the 100 up there, but y'all know it's 93. That's still really good and better than where our budget is. Skilled nursing, 96%, which is very, very.
That's not right. I have one empty bed.
One empty bed.
And it's because the floor needs to be replaced.
57 of 58. Anybody want to do the math on that? I don't know what that is. We'll say that's 98%. So overall, we're doing very good with our occupancy. Total residents, 230. For some of the other that were here through COVID, we got down to 212, 210, somewhere around in there. To see 230 again is really exciting for all of us. So yeah, I'm happy with our occupancy as of today. So any questions on occupancy? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Radels.
Do we have all of it for the new construction, or all of those sold?
They are not, all but one. There's one unit left on the duplex. All other 4 are sold, and we're working hard to sell that. And I was going to mention that when I got to the construction project, but that's a good question. I always like to do a little palate cleanser. Y'all know that I went to Spain for my vacation. Many of y'all asked me to share a few pictures, which I will. I did go to Spain back in early July. The trip was a pilgrimage trip. There's a pilgrimage walk that actually starts in France, goes through the Pyrenees, and ends at this town called Santiago de Compostela. It's probably about a 400-mile pilgrimage walk. I only did 80 miles of it, so I did the last little bit of the pilgrimage walk. That's the amount you have to do to be officially certified as a pilgrim on it. And I thought I'd just show you some pictures from the walk. That's my wife up there in the top left, and that little column there, that's what guided you along the 80 miles of our pilgrimage walk. And you go, it's a walk to the town, and what's at the town is supposedly where St. James the Apostle was buried. He did a lot of evangelizing during his life in Spain, in Iberia, and that's where he was buried, supposedly, and they built this big cathedral on top of where they think he was buried. But these little columns guide you all along the way, and just some shots of some different things, some of the views you see. You would walk through beautiful countryside at the bottom left. And I don't know if Mr. Zimmerman is in here. He's the photographer, so he can critique these pictures. And then on the right, you would walk right down the middle of a village, and you see somebody's door is like right where you're walking. So it was really a beautiful walk and varied. This is on the left is one of the hotels we stayed in. It was a 500-year-old farmhouse outside of a town called Arzula, Spain. And if you look real close, you can see Bimba right here. That's Bimba, the Labrador Retriever that lived at the house. Very cool. And then on the top up there, you see just some more. You do walk by lots of villages. And this little thing at the bottom right, does anybody know what that is? Anybody else? At first, we thought it was a dovecote where doves might live. And these things are all over Galicia, Spain, which is where Santiago is located. It's actually called a oreo, and it's where they put seed at the end of the year for the next year. They store seed there, and you see these things all over the place. Next time that comes up, hey, that needs to be in Quiz Bowl, Brenda, so I can get it right. Yeah, that'd be one I can get. Yeah, and then this is where it ends. That's the cathedral there. That's actually a picture out my hotel window, which was beautiful. That's the cathedral at Santiago. And then the bottom right picture, at the end of every good journey should be a beer. So that's a nice beer right there. They had a craft brewery there, so you could get IPAs and stouts and all kinds of things. So I spent a little bit of time there. But it was a really great trip. If anybody's interested, I have a lot more pictures, but I didn't want to show a whole lot at this meeting. But anyways, it was a really good trip. Want to talk about construction a little bit. Where's Mr. Humani? This is one of his fine pictures right there. He is the drone picture extraordinaire. He's really good at what he does. I asked him to take a couple of these for me on where we're currently at, and it's even changed since then, hasn't it, Mr. Humani? Yeah, so to orient you a little bit, this is where Mr. Olmsted lives, and his RV will be right here at the end of the month. And this is where the Macks live. This is where the Edwards live. This is the Newbolt's place, and that's the Humani's place right there. I believe that's Horn and Mobley right here. And talk about the grass. From above, it does look pretty daggone good. I'll say it is nice and green. But this is the duplex. This is the one they started first. And the end date on that is sometime in October, we're hoping. Don't quote me on any of the dates, but we're hoping sometime in October it will be complete. This one here, I believe, is the one that's sold, looking at Will, the one on the right. We thought we had a really good opportunity on this one. They decided not to get it this time, but we're actively marketing it still. They got the cabinets in last week. It's got bricks around it. If you haven't been out there, recommend driving out there and taking a look, or walking out there. They're going to be putting the siding up this week, I think, above the brick, but it's really come a long way since they started that. This is the next home that they started here. It's got the roof on it. I'm not sure it's drywalled yet. I don't think they got any drywall in there yet, but they do have the brick on it. They do have a brick. And tell your children or grandchildren, if they want to find an industry to make money in, to go into masonry, because there are no masons in the world, and the ones there are like 80 years old. So masonry, tell them to go into masonry. But this one's bricked as well. They poured the foundation for the third unit here, and got the framing up. There was a snafu with the trusses that they're working through. Hopefully those will be delivered soon. And then this one, you see just a yellow over the dirt. It's actually got a foundation on it now. They poured that yesterday morning, I believe. So they'll be working on getting that framing going towards the end of the week. These homes here hopefully will be occupied first quarter of 2024, we're hoping. Okay, yeah, the McNeils here, that's who will be moving in here, or a little bit earlier, maybe the January, February, and these maybe March, something like that. But it's come a long way. It was really slow progress for a while on this duplex. And then once they got over here, it seems like things really sped up. They're really kicking it out now. It's really impressive to watch. And again, thank you to Mr. Maney for all the great pictures he sends me. Our construction foreman loves the pictures, by the way. Is there any questions on the construction, Ms. Howard?
I'm just curious as to what they're going to do about privacy behind that one home. Are they going to put some trees there?
Which one?
The one that's right next to the walk.
This one here?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be doing, she's asking about privacy for those from England. For the house behind it, yeah, they'll be doing some work back here. I'm not exactly sure what that plan is. That's still coming together. But there'll be some plans there. And there are also, many of y'all have seen back here, this is pretty close to the road, the service road back at St. Andrews. They'll be doing a little bit of work back there as well. We haven't seen the full landscape plan yet, but yes, some privacy was.
I know down the end of one of those roads, we have those tall trees, and they just make such a nice.
Yeah, and Dr. McQueen mentioned that to me as well. So that's something I've already mentioned to our construction manager. So thank you. Other questions about the construction? Okay. Items of interest, just want to mention we are in the middle of budget season. We're having our finance committee meeting on Friday with the board committee. We'll be working on the budget for 2024. From that, it'll go to the September 15th full board meeting, and then from there to the Board of Governors, which will be at the end of September. So we're working through all that. Wellspring, I did just get a new memo from Tim, sent it to Helen, that you'll be getting either today or tomorrow about any updates. Many of y'all may have saw the Wellspring group. Saw, that wasn't right, was it? That was incorrect. I could feel Miss Mansfield cringing when I said it. I'm surprised she didn't smack the microphone out of my face. But yeah, may have seen some of the Wellspring contingent here. I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe. Steve Fleming, their president, along with their vice president, and also their construction manager came down just to walk the campus, had lunch with us, had a good experience. They're doing that at all the communities. As far as, I think they're wrapping up their due diligence in the next few weeks, and hope to have a meeting sometime with the Board of Governors to present their findings and decide what they're going to do next. I don't have a lot of the ins and outs. I'm not really included and really shouldn't be in the ins and outs of working all that out, but I'm sure they'll share as that information becomes apparent. And I'll share anything that I know with you all. If you have individual questions, I probably won't be able to answer them, but I can share them with Tim, and Tim, I'm sure, would be happy to answer what he can. Special events, do want to remind y'all, we have had 2 great events so far. The special ones, the Cinco de Mayo event was great, as well as the Low Country Boil. Both those went over very well. I see Ken back there, and we're planning some future events, hopefully in the fall. And then maybe even one in the wintertime. Who knows? Maybe we'll have an oyster roast in the wintertime. That's usually when I remember having oyster roast, is when it was colder outside. So maybe we'll look to do something like that. Ken's going, I didn't hear anything about that. I don't have any oysters, so we'll find them, and we'll get some oysters over here. This is our 35th year. We're going to have a 35th anniversary celebration. We got a small committee together. Terry Hill's part of it. John Cottingham's part of it, along with some other team members here at Scotia. We're working on October 12th being a day that we recognize it. Our actual anniversary is December 12th, but you never know what the weather's going to be doing on that day. October 12th, it's usually 75 and sunny, so we're going to go for that date. We're looking at a backyard barbecue type deal. Jim Morgan, I believe, has already agreed to come with his jazz band and compete with our frogs to see which is the better band. It's going to be like a battle of the bands kind of thing. It's going to be kind of cool. But yeah, we got some other things we're thinking of doing. It should be a pretty fun time. I never thought I'd write the bra on any of my reports, but I do have the words "the bra" on my report. Many of y'all have seen the bra in this main lobby. I think it looks great. Sarah's not here. She's on vacation. She was the one that kind of came up with that design. And it's all about breast cancer awareness. It's a fundraiser for breast cancer. There's ways to donate money. The team, I'm not sure if the team that raises the most money wins anything or not, but it'd be cool to win that. I think we're up to $450 on our bra. And there's has anybody been to the site and to see the other ones? There's a lot of crazy bras on that site, if you like looking at crazy bras. So all kind of interesting ones on there. And we're not in first place. We were in first place for a little while, but we're definitely not in first place now. If you have a question about how to donate to it, it's kind of weird. Some of y'all may not be comfortable with it. Just let one of us know and we can help you with it. I did it and it worked fine. Using the QR code or the texting worked fine. It sends you a link to the website, and it's easy to donate from there. So if you have questions or concerns about that and want to make a donation, please get with somebody and we can help you do that, because we would like to win, that's for sure.
What if you would model the bra and then maybe more people donate?
I think that would be the end of the donations. That would be
Jim's gonna donate.
I would donate if you promise you won't.
If he promise I won't. But on Ashley's note, I do think they are having a modeling at some point with I don't know if it's just the winners or all of them, but they will be doing that at some point. And then the last thing I have up here is Quiz Bowl, which is this Thursday, and there is some staff agreeing to play y'all residents in a rock'em sock'em kind of situation. No, we're fully expecting to get waxed. But I encourage y'all to come back on Thursday at 4 o'clock to watch the staff struggle. And Mr. Wayne's not allowed to play, by the way. He cannot be on unless he's on our team. He can't be on a team. So, are there any questions? Was that less than 20 minutes?
Right on the money.
All right.
Right on the money.
Thank y'all.
Good job. Thank you. No, don't take my stuff. Okay. The only other thing I'd like to mention is that, I don't know if you've noticed, in the dining room and in the cafe, they now have a credit card reader. And that's you can use that whichever way you want to. Is it open to the public? Yeah.
Yeah, there is a credit card reader in the cafe and the dining room. The public can use it as well, like if you want to use it for happy hour or anything like that, you can use it for that. Ken is working with the team. I know some of y'all experienced folks not exactly sure how to use it, team members, but he's working, making sure they're getting trained on how to use that thing. But yeah, so if you want to use it for happy hour, or if you have guests that don't want to put it on your tab and want to pay for it themselves, they'll be able to do that as well.
Can you buy a beer or wine and bring it in here Thursday, since that's the same time as happy hour?
It doesn't bother me. If you'd like to, might make it more exciting.
Might prove to give us some very interesting answers, too. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring up or any questions? Adjourn to ice cream. I didn't have a gavel.